Some of you look like we've been deja vuing. Same thing as last week.
I know.
Same position and everything.
We have a really great group doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and keep admitting. And now I'm going to turn off the chat room. So the waiting room, so everybody can just come in as we go. So now, all right. Well, you guys, it is about 1 more minute and then we're going to get started. And actually homeschooling as well. Look at you. That's pretty impressive. So you're like a math teacher and a ninja. So we'll just let everybody start joining and we'll start in 1 more minute. Has this been a really long week for anybody, or has this been does this week go quickly? I have another chat. I'm excited. I love it. I hope you guys are really involved. Oh, same one. I hope everybody wants to participate and join in today. So 1 more minute because we're still having people join us. I love it, you guys. I'm so impressed with the attendance on this. Just looking to see if my little Molly's here. Where is she? She has to come. The week went fast, did it? No, my daughter, that's my video is not on. Oh, that's why you're, okay, gotcha. So you're not turning your video on because of your homeschooling, gotcha. All right. Well, we still have people joining us, but we're gonna go ahead and get started because we have a lot to go over today. So first, before I get started, we know we have a lot of people that've been through Ninja installation on our workshops, but we also have a lot of new people. So I think it's very important that we just take a moment to kind of check in with ourselves and to make sure that we are doing a quick overview and review. So Terry Johnson is so great. She provides us with great antidotes. She creates great stories and really great content. But the meat of the whole thing, as we already discussed, is the Ninja 9. So I want to make sure for all new ninjas out there that we are implementing the Ninja 9. And what I'd like everybody to do who feels comfortable to put in the chat room what you've implemented. If you're new at this, have you started writing your notes? Have you started doing your affirmations and gratitudes? What have you actually started? So I'm just going to take a quick moment, and I'm really excited. Look what just came in the mail. It was a little bit on back order. I just received my Ninja Planner 2021. I decided to go with it again this year as my planner, and I'm using Google Calendar as we've discussed. So I'm just going to take a quick moment to remember the Ninja 9, gratitude and affirmation, show up and stay on my agenda, write 2 personal notes, focus on hot list and warm list, and that's using your tracker. Remember, you can find that on your BHGenius.com. Then on a weekly basis, you will need to make your customer calls. Customer calls, do not forget to reference the Ford. This is the opportunity for you to get to know your customers. Schedule 2 real estate reviews. We talked about how you can create a template for that last week. So hopefully that will be something that you can implement. 5 live interviews. 5 live interviews. Remember, we discussed that includes any touch on anybody. Grocery store, that you run into a friend, texting, that respond to you. And then the big number 9, and this is what we're going to talk about today, is update my database. We're not going to actually talk about updating it because we've already talked about this. We're actually going to just talk about how to keep in the flow. So remember that it's very important, and it doesn't have to be anything technical, but you just need to have a database. We've learned a lot of our very powerful and experienced ninjas are using an Excel spreadsheet, but they also have some piece of it connected to a calendar. It doesn't matter what kind of calendar it is, as long as you are making sure that you are tracking birthdays, anniversaries, whatever you find to be very beneficial and express your personality. And I'm going to give everybody a challenge who feels comfortable with this challenge. I learned something really valuable yesterday that I was not aware of. Everybody knows that we boost. So if you have a new listing, the company provides a boost for you. And you will get an email. So don't forget, after you do a listing, check your email and they send you a boost. You have to then respond to that. And I just learned yesterday, to take advantage of the boost, you have to have a business page, not a business Facebook, a business page on your on Facebook. So I'd like everybody to challenge them, if you have time, to go to bhgenius.com, watch the virtual learning on how to do, Christian has a great video in there, how to do a Facebook business page, and start that. So we're going to briefly talk about that with our special guest. And so I want everybody to be challenged to do that. Another thing I want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable with and starts digging in on is phone calls and using their Ford. So Monday, I don't care what else you do, make 2 calls. Can everybody do that? That's all of my new ninjas and people, just 2 calls. Just get it over with. Start breaking the ice on that. I mean, we talked to Emily. She calls and calls and calls, and Emily has a very, very successful business. That's how she touches everybody every week. So, and last but not least, I'd like to take a quick minute to introduce and thank Patrick McDowell. He comes to us from the Liberty office. He has been over 9 years of actively doing real estate and being very successful. He has provided us with so much great training and knowledge in mail. And we are so excited to have him here today. And not to mention, he is super funny. He always makes me laugh. So I'm excited for that. I need a few good laughs today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Patrick, and then we're going to take a few quick little breaks during the sessions to read all the great chat that's going in there. So it looks like we have a lot of really great feedback in there. So, all right, Patrick, it's all yours.
Okay, let's see how many times I can make you laugh today. Glad that you guys are here. Listen, appreciate you. I've never had like a formal introduction like that. I'm always usually having to introduce myself. So how about that, Beck? But appreciate you guys. I'm here in Liberty today. That's where you can, if you need a call on Monday, I can be one of your calls if you need to call me, but I'll be here for you. Let's talk today about, Beck really asked me to talk here about mailing and how to incorporate some mail into your business this year. So I have some challenges for you when it comes to marketing by mail. I know we were also going to talk about some other things too, but you know me, you've probably come to some of my mailing classes before. If not, hopefully you had time to watch that homework video that was sent out to you, that one and done mail marketing. That's on YouTube on BH Genius. If you haven't watched it, it has 3 views on YouTube. So I don't know if that tells you anybody did their work or not, but somebody should go watch that video. But we had to re-upload it. So previously it had more views than that. I'm more popular than 3, hopefully. But anyway, I want to talk to you guys really about what you want to learn about. And so I'd love in the chat if you just kind of, put in their questions about mailing this year, why to do it, is it still relevant, how does it make you money? Those are the types of things that I want you to just kind of think about. While you do that, I have kind of a few tips, and I really have like a top 3 must-dos when it comes to marketing by mail this year that incorporate some of these ninja tactics too. So I want you to take some notes. So get ready. So number 1 would be to use DMS postcards or print time. We have a pretty low usage rate of that tool that our company provides us. And so we'll maybe talk a little bit more about that. I talk about it at length in that one and done mail marketing video. So go back and watch that. But that is, the free 25 postcards that get sent out for every listing, for every purchase. So whether you're working with a seller or a buyer, you get a postcard sent out for 25 people for free. It's not free because the company pays for it, but it's free for you. Now you also get a new listing postcard. So for every deal, every listing, you have 2 chances to send a free postcard. For every buyer, you have 1 chance when the deal closes. So sometimes we forget those buyer postcards too. So just, make sure that you know that there's really 3 times that you can use those postcards. Some people send those to their COI. That's great. If that's what you'd like to do, that's good too. Some people just send those out to the 25 people surrounding that property. And personally, that's what I would recommend, because you're reaching people that saw your for sale sign, or they saw somebody moving in or out of the neighborhood. That kind of makes a connection there. So I would encourage you to send at least those 25 to those people that surround that property that you sold it to. And then I know you talked, those of you that attended Wednesday, we talked about, sending those out to your COI. So that's an option too. Or or sending them to a group, another farming neighborhood that's maybe a similar neighborhood to what you just sold. Those are all options. We talk about that in that one and done marketing video. So go watch that. We'll post that in the chat too. I saw you mentioned, Mary, in the chat, sometimes you don't want a listing in the area where you just sold it. I guess that's true. So you could send it to your COI at that point. But you know what? How many of us will turn down business? So send it to whoever you want. But I would challenge you, the top tip of the year is to use those because the company's paying for them. I'd encourage you to do that. In that, there's a caveat. I want you to take the time to personalize those postcards and not use the stock ones that get sent out automatically. And so if we need to, if somebody has questions about it, later on in this session, we can pull up DMS and show you where to customize them and how to do that. Again, it's in that training video that was your homework to watch. But go and check that out and look at it because it shows you exactly what to do and customize them. With that, you want to turn off the auto tell 25 feature. And so if you're going to take the time to customize them and update it every time, maybe it's just part of your checklist on a transaction, which is what I would encourage you to do it that way because it looks a lot better than the stock one that gets sent out. I would encourage you to turn off that tell 25 feature. So some of you, you've heard that from me 20 times, and some of you just heard that for the first time today. So please go in and do that. That's tip one. Feel free to put in the chat if you have any comments or questions about that. Tip two, and we'll spend more time on these things once I get through them, but tip two is that I want you to go in and use some sort of mail marketing on a monthly basis with your people. I want you to market to these people once a month via mail. Think about it. That's only 12 times a year that you're touching those people via mail. Now, I don't know, Beck, does that count as, does that count as a touch once a month? There you go. So you just got one of your touches, as long as it's, mail content that's good to look at. And it can be to anybody, to a farming neighborhood. It could be to your COI, it could be to anybody. Now, when you go watch my one and done class, you're going to see that the first group of people that you should be mailing to is always your COI, because those people, those are warm relationships. They're more likely to work with you off the bat. So before you start farming, which sounds fun, you get to pick a neighborhood, you get to get new business, you get to go, it sounds like it's going to be really worth your while. Well, marketing to your COI is a lot more worthwhile than farming from the gate. So make sure you go market to your COI more than your farming. Once you've mastered your COI, that's when you get the privilege of doing some farming. So that's tip two, is you're going to market to people once a month. We'll give some ideas. We'll talk more about that. Sometimes we talk about mailing quarterly. Think about it. When you mail something quarterly, you're only reaching somebody 4 times a year. That's not very impressive. You have to touch people twice a month with Ninja. Well, it takes 20 times or so before somebody responds to your marketing in a marketing stat. 3 times a month. Sorry, don't listen to me. It's 3 times a month you have to touch somebody with Ninja. But it's 20 times, I know that number, 20 times that you have to reach somebody and market to them before they interact with your marketing. So think about it, 4 times a year, quarterly, that's not going to cut it when it comes to mail marketing. So really, once a month is what I would recommend. And Mary, you mentioned in the chat, if you use bulk mail, it only costs 44 cents. I've trained you well, haven't I? You've been through my my DIY class, but that's good. Tip 2, she put it in the chat. Thank you, Beck. Tip 3, it's an easy one. I want you to go into the Buy BHG on the greenhouse, and I want you to use the personalized magazines. How many of you are doing that? Show me if you're on camera. Oh, Greg is doing it. Okay, great. Thank you. Anybody else put in the chat if you're doing that? Marion's doing it, looks like. So a few of you are using, and Leslie, Buffy, appreciate all of you that are doing that. Many of us are not, let's be honest, or many of us are doing it, but they could be doing it more. So I would encourage you to go utilize those personalized magazines. I would always stick with Better Homes and Gardens being the one that you send rather than any of the other titles, because that makes a connection with the brand that you're already doing. And I would encourage you to do that, especially for the people that you're closing deals with, the buyers that you're working with. Sometimes those sellers, even if they're renting or something, you still want to keep in touch with them. But definitely your buyer clients, those are the ones that should be getting those magazines on a monthly basis. It's $13.25 for a year-long subscription that has your picture, your phone number, your marketing on the cover of that magazine. It looks really nice and it gets sent out. So that's think of it this way, we are really, you probably have heard this before, but Better Homes and Gardens is the only real estate brand that has anything in the world to do with more than real estate. Remax, yeah, they're great, but they just do real estate. Don't put this recording on YouTube now that I said that name. But any of the other companies, they just have to do with real estate. Better Homes and Gardens has a connection with consumers because they know the brand, the magazine brand. They see the merchandise brands at Walmart. There's a lot of different Better Homes and Gardens branding that they see that they can connect with. So that's why we should be sending out those magazines. So go ahead, yeah.
On the we've gotten some great, it sounds like everybody's like really positive. Obviously the magazine is very successful, but I wanted to address something that Meg just said, Meg Lewis, one of our ninjas. I reached out to Steve at Prime Time this week and designed a new postcard for Valentine's Day. Wow, he's already sent it out and it was really cute and easy to work with. So my question to Meg is, how much did it cost you? Because new ninjas, new agents, that's always very top of their mind. We definitely need to spend money to make money. But Meg, how much did it cost you? You can unmute yourself, and if you're comfortable sharing that.
Okay, so I have to look and see how much they cost, but I don't know. I'm going to see if you can see this. So here's, whoops.
Oh, touch your screen.
Oh,
there you go.
If home is where your heart is your heart in the right place. And then it's a bunch of little rainbow colored houses with hearts in them.
Oh, so cute.
So, you answered, Heather, in the chat, $625 for 800 of them. So that's 78 cents a piece. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. They don't charge for any kind of setup for it or anything. It's all, all they charge is for the postcards, which is a great deal.
Great.
I think those look great. I'm going to show you guys another source today where you can also, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Heather.
Yeah, that's exactly how mine were too. They did it in like one day and they got sent out immediately.
So listen, you guys, DMS Print Time, great resource. They're based here locally. It's basically a franchise that they own of that brand. They are who the company has partnered with to send out those Tell 25 postcards. They do a lot more than that, obviously. Now, 78 cents a piece is reasonable. That's a reasonable price. I'm going to pull up Express Docs here in a little bit while we're talking about something else and see what some of their pricing is. You did 800 of them for $625 for 78 cents a piece. So let's look into that a little bit and see the pricing because they do great. Sometimes they're better. There are better places sometimes to get, other templates and stuff like that. But good point. What else is in the chat, Beck?
That's right now. So Heather, thank you. She just actually sent me, you got on. I'm glad to see you got on. Jennifer just thinks it's really cute. So Meg, great job. So I have to say, you guys, thank you for sharing. That is really crucial, Meg. We need to work as a team and share our ideas. I think that's what's going to make Better Homes and Gardens the strongest in the city is by us coming together as a unified front. So you guys share ideas. We love it. So it's all yours.
Like that, Meg, you said 75 cents a piece in the chat. So somewhere around there, 75 to 80 cents a piece. How many did you send out, Meg? But good to know. So anyway, yeah, go ahead.
I sent out 188.
Oh, not
so
bad.
Nice. I think they have a minimum of maybe 50, but if you do 50, then they'll do whatever you want, which is great. And they actually I sent them the idea. They sent me a proof. I didn't like it. And then they switched it to what I wanted, which is, I think, fantastic that they do that for free.
That's great.
That is nice, yeah, that they proof it, and they're very nice to work with. I've never heard Steve's name before. He might be one of the newer ones. But
well, so John left.
Yeah.
John's who we always worked with. He left. So Steve is taking his place, but he still uses John's email, so it's a little confusing, but his name's
that is confusing. Maybe he's in the process of changing his name. Maybe you can only work there and be John. I don't know.
Right, that's it.
Interesting. Well, that's kind of cool. I like that. I think that's really good. I'm gonna share my screen, you guys, and show you something if it lets me here. Give me just a second, and let's see if it works. Sometimes I'm better than others at this. Here we go. Oh gosh. See, sometimes it really weirds out on me. Here we go. I pulled up Express Docs, which is visible through the greenhouse. So you get there through the greenhouse, you click onto marketing, and then you click onto print marketing. Once you're there, it's the Print Marketing Center, and it's Express Docs. That's the name of the company that the BHG National chooses to use for their Print Marketing Center. Talk about that more in, oh, go ahead.
I'm going to stop you for a minute. Could you just repeat that exact? We have a lot of people that don't go into Greenhouse very much. So go into Greenhouse, log in and password, go into Marketing Center.
So here it is again. You're going to log into Greenhouse, and you're going to go under Marketing. That's the tab that you're going to click onto. And under Marketing, there's something called the Print Marketing Center. And once you click onto that, that's where you get to Express Docs, which is this site that I'm on right now. Under that, I clicked on, and I'll show you here in a minute, but I just wanted to pull up a Valentine's Day option. This is the same size as what Meg and Heather sent out. It's an 8.5 by 5.5. Actually, this one's not. This one's a 4 1/4. Let me find one that's the right size. I'm sorry. Give me a second here. I want to find an 8.5, like here's one here, 8.5 by 5.5. So it's the same thing we were looking at, just a different size. So they have small postcards and they have what they call a large postcard. I don't really consider 8.5 by 5.5 that large. That's a normal size postcard in my mind, but that's what the size is that DMS or Print Time sends out. I just wanted to pull up the pricing table there. So Heather, if you sent out 800 of them, you would pay 70 cents a piece there for the premium stock, and it, similar price. You'll save a little bit. I mean, if you're sending out 800 of those, what it was 8 cents times 800 is a pretty good savings there. So it might be something to consider using Express Docs for one of their templates in the future. So that is standard mail. That's the same way that DMS sends out. They don't use first class, they'll use standard mail. And now Express Docs is in Dallas, and they're very quick as well. They'll mail out they'll print your product within a day or two and get those mailed out. So that is the preferred printing partner of BHG National. And so they've got some nice templates. Let's go back and look at like all the Valentine's Day options. I mean, they've got, just scroll through the screen and you can see all the different options that they've got. So lots to choose from. They have your picture on them on one side of it. So if I chose, this other one, somehow I pulled up social media on here. I guess you can also make some cover photos and stuff, which is actually kind of clever. Let's click on one and just see.
Does the cost include postage?
Yeah, so that cost includes postage. Yeah, that's your all-in price. And yeah, they'll send, you can upload your mailing list, Meg, that's right. Or you can actually choose different mailing lists through this tool too. So let me just show you just real quickly. This was one of the ways that you could mail something, by the way, once a month. And so it is worth showing you. I guess they have yard signs available, who cares? But anyway, you get to this page. This is what you click onto when you click on the Print Marketing Center. This is the Express Docs page. You're gonna find all of those postcards under personal marketing on that top tier on the top row, second from the left. So you're gonna click personal marketing, and you're going to just kind of go through and look at all the different options that they have. Every holiday you could ever want, they have available as an option there. So all I did was click on to Valentine's Day, which is on the second row right down there. Click on Valentine's Day. It has all these options. So yeah, the price includes postage. You can send them your mailing list, or you can use the tools to make a mailing list. I'll show you how to do that. Over here where it has kind of your icon for your profile on the top right, you can click down on that if it were to work for me. Maybe not. Let's go back to the main page and start over. But how funny. It's not working. I promise it's there. Well, the point of it is it's supposed to be able to click right there. But basically, they have different ways that you could get a mailing list too. It really does work, I promise. But you could find a radius list. So you could search for an address. Maybe you type in your office address and you want to, go a mile out from that. You could type in a particular property address, just like our Tel 25 would be. You could also do an entire mail route. And then you can also search based on demographics. So you could find particular home values or particular income brackets within a community. Those are ways to make mailing lists. It does cost a little bit. It's like a penny or two per address when you use their mailing list service. But you can always upload your own mailing list. And they're very quick, very easy. Great place to get other things like business cards or other postcards or anything like that. They've got a whole slate of products. One thing that I want to mention while I'm in here, just because I talk about it all the time, under personal marketing, where it gave you all these different options, one of the options is the Smart Digs newsletter, which many of you have heard me talk about before, but it's down here towards the bottom. It's called the Smart Digs newsletter. Let's click on it. That's one of the options that I would encourage you to think about. A couple of weeks ago, you guys talked as a group about using a newsletter, and you talked with an agent who spends a lot of money and a lot of time personalizing and customizing a newsletter. There's nothing wrong with that, but sometimes that's out of the realm of reality for some of us in our businesses. And so an easy way to do the newsletter would be to use somebody else's content, like ExpressDocs content here. They have all these options. I'm going to choose, let's just say I want to choose the spring issue because it's pretty well almost spring. That's recommended for March, April, and May. And they gave you 12 options, actually, 10 options there that you can choose from of different content. So, here's one that's called seasonal or spring cleaning. Let's do that one. That one looks nice. And then you can go in and customize it. I'll show you the pricing on it real quickly here. Pricing on a newsletter, let's say I send out 100 of them, it's $1.06 a piece. So very reasonable for that newsletter. The content is done for you. And what I was going to get to next is click on customize, and I can change it to the green. It can be a green newsletter. You can change it to be different colors too, but you can customize it and make it look a little bit more like you than anybody else. There's a really old picture of me that I still haven't gotten rid of, even though I teach this class and I say that every time, but it'll upload and it'll be green here in just a moment. Looks a lot better green. It really fits our branding, but $1.06 a piece for 100. The prices change based on quantity. And let's see if it refreshes the proof to be green now. That would be nice. And just to show you how much better it looks. I know that, some of these things just take time, but that would be a really good way to keep in touch with people. You could send these out quarterly. I know many agents in our office send these out quarterly. It must be because we're using too much bandwidth with the screen share, but hopefully it'll load and it'll be green. It looks really nice. Point of the story is I would encourage you to go use that sometime. Any questions about this newsletter or anything that you can find in ExpressDocs?
You check the chat room so I can make sure I don't miss anything. I think we're good.
Does anybody use this newsletter and they want to tell us about their experience with it?
What is the turnaround time?
Very quick. They're going to print these out to you in 1 to 2 to 3 days and mail them out. And they're in Dallas, and so it'll take a few days to mail it. So you'll get one yourself. So they send you a copy of it, so you'll know when it gets delivered to your recipients. So very easy. It's a nice thing to do, and they have a very quick printing and mailing turnaround. At that point, it is up to the Postal Service, and they are going through a lot right now, is one nice way to put it. And so it can take some time for things to be delivered, whether you mail them locally or from Dallas, it doesn't matter. Talk to some of your fellow agents about some of their recent mailing experiences, but I wouldn't let that steer you away from mailing. I would do things that are tried and true. This newsletter is one of those. It comes in a nice folded up 8.5 by 5.5 template. Once you receive it, it's folded up kind of into quarters, and that's what it looks like when they receive it. It's really nice, glossy paper, looks really good. It's got content in it that kind of sticks around a while, more so than a postcard would. So what I would encourage you to think about, if you're thinking about that monthly mailing schedule, here's something to think about and write down. I would maybe send a newsletter once a quarter, and then maybe follow that up with 2 different sized postcards, the second month of the quarter and the third month of that quarter. So that way you're reaching somebody 3 times a quarter, but something different every time. They're not getting too used to your content. They're not getting, used to the sizes and the look. It's something different, which keeps it fresh in their mailbox. So there you go. Yeah, Meg, I know exactly who you're thinking of. They use these and they get good results from them. They use them. I know some agents that use these as farming tools, and some of them send them, use them to their COI, which either of those would be good options. It looks better green, so just make sure you go in and customize it to where it's green. The only other thing I wanted to show you on this, and then I'll answer some of those questions that popped up there, but there's this content box. That content box shows up on the newsletter. That's the only thing that you can change, and it shows up. If everything worked right, it would show up on the first page of the newsletter. Oh, there's that old picture of me again. I hate that, but there it is. That's where the content box is, right there. See that kind of tan looking gray box there? That's really the only part of that newsletter that you can alter, but it's a great place to put kind of a monthly or quarterly message. Maybe a call to action would be a good place there. So that's kind of what you can change within that newsletter. The rest of it's all stock template. That's the way it is. So any questions?
Patrick, we do have a question, and this is a really great question. And of course, the answer is yes, but Patrick can go into more depth with this. For those of us just starting out, is it possible to send out mailings out electronically? I am still building my database.
Hey, good question. Yeah. Laversha, thank you for that question. And I'm sure so many of us can relate to that. And even those that have been in the business a while, maybe your marketing budget isn't what it was or what you'd want it to be. So a good thing to do would to be send out an email newsletter. You can do that through HomeSuite. There are options in there. And, we won't have time today to log in and show you how to do that, but that's a great topic to talk to your staff, your admins and your brokers about how to do that. But what I will say is you're going to have a higher response rate on your mail marketing than you would an email newsletter that goes out. And that's just because we all get bombarded with so many emails every day. And so you're going to have so much better result off of investing a little bit of money on some print marketing that's going to be mailed out to at least your COI. Again, that's who I would always start mail marketing with, is your COI, because those people already know you and trust you and are more likely to work with you. It's just, when you send something to mail, it's just kind of that personal touch that feels personal to somebody because it's got their name on it, but you've also sent it out to 100 other people, but it's relatable. You want to send content that is relatable, that they can interact with and make them want to keep it around a while. That's why mail is so much better than an email, because it sits on somebody's table, or it's something that they reference back to if it's got a recipe in it, or so many different things. Emails get lost by the wayside there, but mail marketing is much more powerful. When you think about mail marketing, there is an expense involved, but it's an expense that, that's the marketing expense of your business. So I would encourage you to find that marketing money, or put a certain percentage aside of every commission check to have that marketing budget. That would be a good way to do that starting out, and make that a goal this year to reach people on a monthly basis. Over the course of the year, this is a good time to bring this up, I might spend somewhere between $4,000 to $5,000 on mail marketing. Maybe that fits into your budget, or maybe it doesn't. That's up to you. But what I'll tell you, when you watch that one and done marketing video, you'll see that in 2019, those are the stats that are in that video. In 2019, I netted, I grossed $72,000 of extra gross commission income based directly off of my mail marketing activity. Now, GCI, gross commission, that still has to, have your split taken out of it and everything. But an extra 72 grand worth of gross commission income based on mail marketing more than pays for my $4,000 to $5,000 of investment in mail marketing. So, think of it that way. Now, you don't need to do $4,000 to $5,000 to make an impact on your business, but I will tell you that it takes time. It takes persistence to keep doing mail marketing. You can't do it once, send out, I'm not picking on Meg, but Meg, you can't just send out those Valentine's postcards once and be done with mail marketing the rest of the year. You got to do it every single month. But that Valentine's postcard, Meg, was an ideal type of thing to send out, because it's not a market stat. You can send those out on occasion, but who really cares? Send out content that is actually relatable and good for people to, feel like they're enjoying getting something personalized.
So if we can ask you a quick question, do you do the magnet street? Do you ever do the team magnets, or like there's obviously the measurements or the wine pairing? Have you done any of those?
No, I haven't. I appreciate those ideas. DMS does great magnets and calendars and stuff. I personally don't do those. I think we all have calendars on our phones. So that's always been my view of it. Many people are very successful with calendars or recipe cards or, whatever they might send out. Just doesn't fit into my plan. That's the beautiful thing about being in real estate. We all are our own agent. We get to make our own decisions about what fits in with our clients and our voice and all of that. So that's up to you to decide. But I'm always somebody, as you might have learned over the 9 years you might have known me, is that, I like to use the tools that are available to me through the company. And so I love to use Express Docs. I love to use DMS postcards because our company has trusted those people and those businesses to be our partners. That's who I choose to use. But I will say that those magnets, great idea. I will be careful right now using anything with a magnet these days. It sounds like we might have had some issues with some calendars, whether they had magnets on them or not. I know some of them did based on some conversations I've had. So These days, everything that I'm trying to do with the Postal Service is pretty simple and cut and dry. So it's an 8.5 by 5.5 postcard, or it's a folded up newsletter, things that make it easier for the Postal Service to do their job, because obviously they can't do their job if it's very difficult. And I mean, we've run into that. So just be careful of what you're sending out. You want it to be uniform. You don't want it to be large and bulky. You don't want magnets to be sticking out and sticking to different stuff. You just want to be cautious when you're thinking about your money, because you pay for it. You want it to actually be delivered. And Mary, if you want to unmute yourself, I think you mentioned that your stuff finally got delivered last week. Am I right? She might put it in the chat, but feel free to unmute and I'll hear you when you start talking. But it was 3 days. 3 days from when you mailed it. Is that what you mean? Some people could only be as lucky. So good job for you, Mary. You got your stuff mailed out and delivered in time. So that's good. Listen, you guys, I want to chat more about what you want to know. What are some of the things you wonder about mail? Why do I do what I do? Why do I market by mail so much? Why do I talk about that? Or what questions or ideas do you want to just float through as a group? Let's talk about it as a group. That's why we're here.
So Patty, hi Patty, how are you? I haven't seen you in so long. A great marketing is using Boomerang from Colorado. What do you think about that? Have you
I
used
think that's
Boomerang?
fine. I've never used them. No, I've heard of them. And Patty, I know you've used them. How long have you used them, Patty? Maybe you can hop on and tell us that story a little bit. Give us 30 seconds of their spiel.
I've used them for the last couple of years, and it is so automatic. You send them your list. They send out coupons to all of your people around the city that says, buy one, get one, or come and get ice cream or a dessert or an hors d'oeuvre from different places around the city. And you can customize it and put a message on it. I think it's just a good touch and an easy touch and a cheap touch. I think I've sent out over 100 of them for like $68.
Yeah,
So,
very reasonable. Yeah, 68
it's a reasonable
cents a
way
piece.
to touch them, and it's just a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned.
So Patty, that comes out as a postcard, is that right?
Yeah, it's like a 8.5 by 5.5.
Yeah, aren't they all? It seems like, but that's
Yeah.
good. So it has a postcard. How do they choose the partners on there?
They just partner with people around town and use them and say, we're going to send out a postcard. It's just they do it by kind of where you are in the city. So if you're up north, they'll pick people like around Liberty and things like that. Since I'm down south, most of the things are probably 135th to county line.
Sure.
So they just and it's just different places and fun places for people to try. So it kind of gets them out doing it, and then you keep it, which is the best part.
Right, you're right. It sticks around. It's got your face on it. So
Yeah.
you're the sole, you're paying for a big bulk of that cost, I imagine. I mean, 68 cents a piece is very reasonable. And I imagine that they are having those advertisers pay for their space on that to put a coupon in there. Do you know anything about that?
That's my guess, is that they're asking them to do that, or at least go in with them in order to have it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then also, I'd have a lot of questions for you here. Sorry, but how many? There's just one coupon on each postcard?
Yes, one coupon on each postcard.
You got all your answers, everybody. There you go. You could use that if you want to. What I'll tell you is for 68 cents a piece for an 8.5 by 5.5 postcard with somebody else paying for a portion of that postcard, if you had a business that you knew the owner of very well, and you wanted to make your own boomerang type postcard, you could easily come up with a design and a template and pay a lot less than 68 cents a piece. Take it the right way, Patty. I think that's great. It's one and done. You don't have to worry about it. It's done. They do it all for you. But if maybe you're one of those DIY type of people and you want to, save some money, like LaVersa, I mean, you mentioned in there that you wanted to, save some, or, you didn't mention you wanted to save some money, but you're new, you're starting out with a new budget, and that'd be a good way to do it. Maybe you've got somebody that owns a hair salon or a nail salon or an ice cream shop or an Italian restaurant or anything like that. You can partner with them and put in a coupon on your mail piece and have them share that cost. And make sure that it's a proportionate share of that cost. There are such things as RESPA laws when it comes to real estate marketing and sharing costs. And so make sure that you're not having them pay for everything and send out your postcard at no cost. But anyway, you can feel free to email me if you have any specific legality questions about that. Go ahead, Patty.
I have to admit, the easier it is for me, the better it's going to be.
See, you know what, that's it. And we all go through different stages of our career as well. And so I'm getting to that point. I'm kind of like, listen, I've done all this work for the last so many years. I'm like, let's just let somebody else do it. But Patty, that's great. I think that's good. It's one and done. And how easy is it to do that? And it looks nice.
It looks nice. I don't have to think about it. It goes out every month, and it's very convenient. And I know me. If I have to go contact people and get them together, and I will not design it because I can't do it, but I know that it won't get done. In this way, it's finished and it is marketed, and I get out there.
I like that. And that's what all of us, all 40 of us here today, have to take a second to do, is realize, okay, who am I? Am I going to get this done by the deadline? If I'm not going to get it done, we need to do something like Patty. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not picking on Patty at all, but I think that we have to be self-aware enough to say, okay, is this going to be done? And if not, let me hire somebody to do it. And there are a lot, 68 cents a piece. Even for somebody brand new with no marketing budget, that's a very affordable way to reach somebody with something that you know is probably going to stick around a while. They're going to cut it out and use the coupon. And while they're doing that, while they're going to use your ice cream coupon, there's something psychological going on. Think about it. They're thinking of you when they're eating their ice cream, whether they like it or not, but they're thinking of you and knowing that they got that coupon from you. So Mary, maybe you could share the, not Mary, I'm sorry, but Patty, maybe you could find the URL to that website and share that Boomerang website with everybody. But that'd be good.
So Patrick, a question for you. So that's pretty phenomenal, 2019 statistics.
Yeah.
You really invested a great deal of money. I mean, I know it's in relation to what you made, but thank you, Patty. That's great. What was one of your most successful mailing campaigns? Like, what did you obviously, do you kind of track them? What was one of your most successful? Could you share that with the group?
That's a great question. For me, it's all about consistency. So there's not one campaign that suddenly gets you more results than another. It just is more so you've got to stick with your schedule. And so what I'll do is the first quarter of the month, I'll send out that newsletter that's similar to the one that they had on Express Docs. And you might decide you want to find another template and use that as a newsletter. That's fine. That's up to you. But I send something that's going to stick around for a while. I get really good comments on those, not necessarily great responses financially. But when I see people, I'll have them say, oh, I got your, sometimes they call it a magazine. I got your magazine, or I got your newsletter, or whatever. The second month of the quarter, sometimes I'll send out a 4x6 size postcard that has a few market stats on it, because it is important for people to know that their home's value, their went up a certain amount or whatever. I don't like to bombard people with stats because they really don't care. Take it the right way, but they don't care about the market stats like you and I do. And so I like to share them, with a grain of salt. And then in the third month of the quarter, I'll send out a just relatable. I liked the promotion that BHG came up with, is that, oh gosh, I lost it in my mind, but it's, home warming starts with a home, or something, it was really good. I lost it in my mind, but home baked starts with a home, for instance, which actually made people laugh when I sent that out. Home baked, you'll get it if you get it. But also, it was really a mother making a pie during the Thanksgiving time, that it was home baked, starts with a home. So they had all of these templates that were actually on the greenhouse that I kind of switched up and made my own, and that was kind of their theme. So that's what I sent out that time of the month. But anyway, that's the point. There's not really one great newsletter or mailer or postcard or anything that's going to get you great results. It's all just consistency, doing it all the time. That's how mail pays off.
So do you incorporate any email campaigns in your plan? Because obviously you focus very heavily on the mailing.
Yeah, you've got to be well-rounded. I would encourage you to do email newsletters and things like that to people too. I would really challenge us to think that the email newsletter probably doesn't do much good for us, honestly. That's my personal take on it. I don't personally, I get some from other agents. I get things from other businesses. I get ones from mortgage lenders. And most of the time they just sit in my inbox and I don't click on them, and I think that's probably what happens to a lot of our emails too that we send out. So I do, I don't send out a regular email newsletter. The people that you're actively working with are already getting emails from you with listing alerts and things like that. So do they really need a newsletter on top of that? I don't know. I think a good way to keep in touch is via mail, via personal phone calls, via personal notes. Those are the best ways to keep in touch. And then your social media presence can kind of, go on top of that.
So yeah, but someone just said, what about posting for Facebook? Facebook is definitely a marketing piece. It's not so much as it's actually touching one person and it's not personalized, but it's definitely keeping you in the flow with regards to being visible. And one of the questions that always comes up is, what is good content and where do you find it on social media? Do you have anything to help with that, or?
We have a great tool that's available to us through the greenhouse. And you might have heard me talk about it before, but it's the social tool and it's under marketing. Again, everything you can find is under marketing. You can click marketing, social media, and then the social tool is the tool that pops up. Just like we kind of found the print marketing center, social is just right underneath that. That social tool has a lot of great content that you can share directly to your Facebook page from that social tool that you've clicked onto. And it kind of pulls stories from places like Realtor Magazine, or, Mary, you mentioned in the chat, Keeping Matters Current. That's a great one too. It kind of pulls everything together, BHGRE, BHG Magazine. It pulls all the content into one place. You can also customize your news feeds in that social tool where it pulls something maybe from Keeping Matters Current. It can pull it from there too. You can customize that. Maybe you like a certain magazine or something. It'll pull it from their RSS feed. Anyway, from there, you can click onto that post that you like, click the share button, make a little post yourself, use a couple hashtags, and it will make the post. You can schedule it out, up to like a month in advance. It's a nice way to kind of set it and forget it. So one of my new goals for the year, which literally I started yesterday, not related to this class at all, but my goal for the year is to go in once a week into this social tool and to post like on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday type of schedule, those types of articles, and then supplement that with new listing alerts or, just marketing about me in general. But those are much more relatable content. So that's a good place to find social media posts. Another place, we saw it in the chat, Keeping Matters Current. Another place you could go is Realtor Magazine. They have some great content that you could also use for mail. If you made a newsletter yourself, you could copy some of those articles. Realtor Magazine, not to be confused with Realtor.com. Realtor Magazine has its own website, and you can find some really useful articles on there too.
And so just to reiterate, that was the social tool. Could you just give us the directions to get there real quickly so everybody can write that down?
Yeah, can I show it to you?
We would love that. Thank you.
I'll just pull it up here if you'd like to see it. And
we're looking forward to questions. And if anybody has any ideas, why he's getting that opened. If anybody has questions like, hey, how do I customize the TEL 25s? This is the time for you guys to ask those questions. Everybody can use a refresher, and those who are new would love to find out new tools. So ask those questions now.
I like it. So we're here on the greenhouse. We're still where the print marketing center was. I'm under marketing. So you have all these options that come up. One of them you're going to click on is marketing. And one of the options at the very bottom is social media. See that there? So you click on social media. And then what I want to click on is the social media tool. There you go. Okay. It's going to load. It's loading. And then you're going to click on go to social tool. All right, easy enough. It's going to load up here. It takes a second, especially when I'm sharing my screen, but it'll pull up, and I'll show you just briefly some of the options that it has. It also has a great way to share listings or open houses or price changes. You could do that all from the social tool. So play around with it. There's some great videos in Be Better University on the greenhouse that show you exactly how to use it. But maybe I like this article that's, let's find one that's good. Making memorable holiday moments. That's not good. Let's find one that is for a different time of the year. And I'm on my iPad, so it looks a little different than it will on your desktop. The one that I really like, you go down here and you click on buyer seller tips. See that option? I'm going to check that box. And buyer seller tips, it's going to pull up an article here that I'm sure I'm just going to like, probably the first one. Let's see. Whenever I teach these classes, it never loads like it's been doing today, but it'll get there. Once it loads some great articles, what you can do is just click the little share button. You can add your own personalized content and click share. You can share it immediately, or you can schedule that post out in the future. So that way you can log in at a single time and post that and be done. Now it's kind of frozen, it looks like. It never takes that long. So that's okay too. But go back to the social tool and go there. The articles are updated very regularly, almost daily. It depends on where the feed is coming from. So when you log in the first time, you're going to see this listening tab, and it's going to show you articles that are from 2 weeks ago. That doesn't do me any good. So that's why I want to go in and choose. And on your desktop, this section will be on the left side of your screen instead of the right. But that's why I would want to go in and collect like buyer seller tips. Normally it'll load up just fine. It'll give you a lot of articles that are from 2 to 4 to 6 hours ago. Sometimes they're yesterday. They update regularly depending on their source. A lot of them are coming from an RSS feed, which means they're coming directly from the website that they were posted at originally. So if it's a Better Homes and Gardens magazine article that was just posted on the website, that's automatic. They don't have to wait for somebody at BHG Real Estate to load it into this social tool. It happens automatically. So they do happen. It apparently doesn't work on your iPad like it usually does, but sometimes it does. So try it on your desktop. All you have to do is link your personal Facebook page, and the first time you log into that, it'll walk you through that, and you just link your business page that you want there, and you choose that page every time you post, and it literally posts it there. So there you go.
Now, Miriam Coast wants to know, does it have let me pull this up. Does it have a scheduler to do weekly?
Yep, so you can schedule it as far out as you want to. I'll show you. Let's just say I wanted to share this article, even though I don't like that one. But I'm just going to click that little 3-dot icon button, and it pops up this article here. You're going to choose the page. Then you click that little red X, even though it makes you feel like you're closing it out. It tells you to do that. And then I'm going to, write a little post there. You're going to use the hashtag BHGRE, although you don't need to, because look, it already includes it. It's already using the BHGRE hashtag. So don't double it up. It'll look silly. And I know that it says account name as if my account wasn't there. That's the way it always looks. It's a glitch. We know things with national are glitchy sometimes, and there's an example. So then you can go down and you can click schedule. See where it says schedule at the very bottom? And you can schedule it. Let's say I want it to post next Tuesday at 12:52 p.m. I schedule it and I'm done. Now, another option would be to publish it right away, and you could publish it. It'll go to your page right there. So
Can I add a little something to that real quickly before you move on with hashtags? So I just completed a training class with our brand, and they brought somebody in and talked about social media. Get in the habit, ready for this, do at least 3 hashtags. If you're going to do 1, do 3. Don't do, they say about 3 is about a good average. And what happens, I think everybody knows what hashtag, but then what happens is it's what's trending, and then it will connect, and it will trend, and it connects to the social media, and it's people who are looking for something in that, it helps bring it to your page. So 3 hashtags. It could be easy as Kansas City real estate, love home, love. It could be anything. Go Chiefs. It could be anything. Just make sure you do at least 3 hashtags to pretty much normally what is related to the article.
I like that. That's a good tip. The only other thing I want to show you in the social tool is it's very hard to see on this screen. It's easier on your desktop, but find the section that's called property listings. It's right there in the middle of your right screen. You can kind of see it. Property listings. Okay. I'm going to click on that, and this just pulls up, I think, I think because I'm listed as a Zap specialist, it pulls up all the listings in the company. It might just pull up your listings or the listings for your office, but I'm pretty sure you can search through everybody. Let's say I like this home in Roland Park here, and I am doing, let's say it's my listing, by the way. You only want to market your listings unless you have permission from the other agent. But let's say it is my listing, even though it's not. I want to go, and I'm having an open house there this weekend. And so maybe I wanted to make this quick post. Well, you can drag and drop this open house thing. It doesn't work on my iPad, but it will on your computer. You literally just drag that little icon, any of those over to the right there, drag them onto the photo, and you can resize it, but it makes a great social media graphic. Now, when you post that, as of right now, see how it has that BHGRE link? When you post it through the social tool, it is going to link that to your Zap listing page. And so always make sure you have an updated profile on your Zap website, just the same as you do your home suite. But it's a great, easy way to share a listing or an open house or a price change, whatever you're going to do. That's a great way to schedule it and post it. I would encourage you to use this tool. Has a lot of great articles that you may have never even realized were there. It's super easy, free. Sometimes they have contests throughout the year, depending on how many people use it. Madeline from our Northland office won a great prize in a year or so ago for using the social tool regularly. So people in our company have won money just for using this tool. So go in and use it sometime. But there you go. Any questions about the social tool? I'd love to hear it in the chat. That's a great way to find content. You can also find content on some of the other places that we mentioned, but this is a great way to manage a social media page. But any other questions in the chat?
Let me check. No, not right now.
I
Does
like
anybody have
that.
anything?
Some good points in there, though. Here's my challenge for you when it comes to social media. I said that I'm just getting back on it, and honestly, I'm very lackluster in the last year of doing social media advertising. But I know that I could do it. I know that I have that ability, and so do you. You just have to take the time to do it. Sometimes I get discouraged when I post something and it's only my broker Joanna that's liking it. She's sitting there smiling with her picture, but I know she's laughing in real life because all she does is like my posts, which is great. It's great to have support. And sometimes it's discouraging when there's only a couple people that like your posts. Listen, just post the stuff, keep doing it, and over time you'll continue to build an audience of people that like them. When you share something like these articles from the social tool, people are more likely to interact with you than just posting listings and posting just solds or whatever. They're more likely to interact with you if you have some lifestyle content in there too, and that's really what it is from the social tool.
Well, it's a great way of getting instant response. So if you post something once a week, one week you get 25 likes and another week you get one, then just the one that has the one, that's something maybe you want to reconsider and not do something in that nature. So you kind of use it as instant feedback.
I like that. I like that. I want to kind of hijack things here for a second. This was unplanned, but I just want to hear in the chat or unmute yourself. I just kind of want to recap what we've talked about today and what you're going to do to implement that. I'd love to just know what some of the things that we've talked about. Many of you have been to these same type of mailing classes before, but maybe you just haven't taken the step and actually gone and done the stuff yet. Maybe this year is your time to do that. I would encourage you to think of that as being a fresh start, going through this ninja class, or maybe you're a brand new agent. Well, there's no better way than being a brand new agent and starting mail marketing to build brand awareness of you being an agent, the expert in your community. Mail is the way to do that. So tell me in the chat what you're going to implement and what you're going to do, or take yourself off mute and start talking. But yeah, Meg, you're going to do something rather than 3 to 4 times a year. You're going to do it every month. I think that's a good idea, and it doesn't cost a lot. It doesn't cost a lot. Yeah, just to your A and B COI. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, those hot leads. I think those are good. The magazines, yeah, do posting on Facebook. Good, Patty. I do notice that you say do a posting on Facebook. Make sure you do more than one though, Patty, okay? Are you with me on that?
Previously, while we're waiting for other answers, somebody asked, does the magazine count as one of the Ninja three touches a month? Of course it does. So if you think about it, a call, a postcard, a personal note, because you cannot write a personal note to the same person every single month. That would kind of be a little bit not genuine, so if you write a personal note 1 month and then another, but definitely that does count. Did you say 3 hashtags for every posting on Facebook? Yes, Carol, a minimum, not one. They said not 1 hashtag. This is the training I received from a social media specialist, at least 3 hashtags. I'm alternating mail with pop-bys 1 month. That's great. 1 month direct mail, next pop-by. So it sounds like you've been to maybe a Buffini class, which is a great thing to incorporate into Ninja. But pop-bys are terrific because it gets you out there and just need to be consistent with them.
I like that idea, Jennifer. That's good. That saves you a little bit of cost. So earlier we were talking about maybe somebody's brand new, maybe they don't have a lot of a marketing budget. Well, go do some pop-bys of something just to interact with people and make a nice person, don't just give them something. Make sure you have something that's branded to you in that pop-by, some sort of card that's tied on there or a sticker or something, or a handwritten note that goes along with it. That's what makes a good pop-by.
Well, so we are, I've always tell everybody, I've always been very respectful of the time. We have Patrick for a few more minutes right after this, so we can continue asking questions and going through the chat room. But it is 1 o'clock. For those of you who block your time and want to get moving to the next thing on their agenda, that is great. I just want to quickly remind everybody, I am still taking any emails at training@kansascityhomes.com. If you want to have an accountability partner, I've got a handful of people who've already sent them in. And thank you for everybody. I'm getting it and I'm putting it into a list. At the end of the 5 weeks, we will pair people up. Also, do not forget that we are creating a library. Thank you for all of the great input. And please do not forget to tune in next week. We have 4 amazing ninjas and we're going to be going over selling. So everybody's giving thank you for all the great things. Crystal Hawkins pop by monthly and in information weekly. I mean, all these great things that are happening. Thank you so much, Patrick, for making a difference. Does anybody have any questions for Patrick? And I apologize to cut off, but I'm very respectful of people's time. Patrick, thank you. Does anybody have any more questions for him? Thank you for everybody. We are going to be closing up, and do not forget, we will have this on recording. So if something really valuable is talked about in the next minute or two, you can watch the recording. So please ask questions before we go.
Patrick, you guys are good. Thanks for tuning in today, spending some time with me. I'm just an agent just like you. So if I can do these things, so can you. And they really, listen, mail marketing, do it for the whole year and come back to me next year. I know that you'll have made some extra money in your business if you do it that way. So please come up with it and do it. Thanks for coming today.
All right, thanks guys. Do not forget to do your Ninja 9 and Facebook challenge. Patrick's giving you a lot of challenges and very important, make the phone calls and call Patrick, he said. So thanks for everything.
I could be one of them. Call me anytime.
Have a great day, you guys. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you. See ya.
Yeah.